Good evening. Painting with Megan here. Give some people time to sign on. Or should I say, see me pop up. Hello. Happy Thursday. Okay, perfect. I see my notification that I am live. So hello, welcome. So excited to paint with you guys tonight. I feel like it's been forever since I've been live. I've been pretty busy with planning a wedding actually. So I've just been kind of busy with wedding planning and stuff. So, but I'm like super excited to be on here tonight and to paint with you all and to welcome spring, because spring is like, what, 2 days, 1 day away? Hi. Oh, your first class, welcome, welcome. Oh, cool, Puerto Rico. Very nice painting. Thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah, so just ignore those like weird live stream things that keep popping up saying to click this link, so don't click the link. They are a scammer. Hi, hello everyone. So happy to see you all here. Oh my gosh, that person is just spamming away. Maryland. Yeah, say where you're from. Maybe there's somebody in here that is like right around the corner from you. You don't know. So yeah, if it's your first time on Painting with Megan, welcome. And on this page, I like to do lives. I do Zoom classes, private parties, private like one-on-one lessons on Zoom. And then I always put out a live. I've been doing it now. My lives, actually, it's officially 1 year now that I've been going live and offering one live, sometimes twice in a month, a live that's absolutely free. And I keep them up on my page so you can just like do them anytime. If you're new to the page, feel free to check out the video section because I have like, I think I counted, there was like 20 some, like plus 20 videos there that I've done of lives in the past. And they're really good for all ages and levels too. So, and the same with this painting tonight. It's perfect for beginner to like advanced. So it's just a fun painting that I made here to prepare, and I'm excited for spring. So I'm so excited. I'm so tired of the winter. If you're in Canada anyways, it's been quite snowy. So they stay available like literally forever. I haven't taken any of them down. So it's backwards in the camera. So my view, the trees are on the left, which I think, yeah, it looks backwards in my camera, but, oh, hey, Mark. You can, yes, so any canvas size is great. So I will go over the supplies before we start, just so everybody knows. And of course, if there's any questions, let me know. Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, 8x10 is good. It's just a little small, so I would just smaller scale your painting and maybe just do one of these, right? Because if you did two, you might get too crowded. If you have a really big one, then do like 3 or 4 of them. But the painting canvas size here that I have is a 12x16. Okay, so for the colors tonight, I have my paper plate palette already here. Thanks. Thank you, Helene. Hi, David, and hi, Barb. So these are the colors I have tonight. So I have blue. This one is called cobalt blue, but it can be any blue. That's totally cool. I have a brown, which is a little darker. It almost looks black, but it's actually a brown. So I did say black as well, just because, you know, to darken a brown if you had a lighter brown. Yeah, 11x14, you can do the 2 branches for sure. It's not much smaller than my 12x16. I have green here. It's a darker green, but it can be any green color. There's just a little bit of green in this painting at the bottom here. And then I have red as well, and white. And And I'm using acrylic paints tonight. So make sure you have clothing on that you're not going to get all covered in paint and then regret it later, like I am. But I'll put on my apron tonight. I literally have so many clothing items that have now turned into paint clothes. And I need to have like literally a whole other drawer of just painting clothes. Because I've wrecked that many of my clothing. But I just love it. I get into it and then I just get painted myself and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know. So yeah, ooh, a 10 by 20, that'd be cool. Yeah, you could flip it like either way. Like you could have your 10 by 20 this way or this way. But I feel like for these branches, because they are longer, I feel like horizontally it would be better. Hey Joe, long time no see. You to paint? So yeah, so welcome if you're just tuning in now. I know I said the event is at 7, so if you're just popping in now, welcome. And so happy that you're here tonight. And if you can't stay the whole thing, this is going to be recorded as we go live here. And you can just do it anytime after. And like I said earlier, I don't take off the videos. I don't know if I ever will. I just really love to be able for people to have that option where they can go on my page and find these videos and do them at any time. So, and like I said, they're all for all levels. So, oh, hey, I see some friends in here. I see some familiar names, some not. And as we go, like if I miss your comment, just feel free to put it in again. Sometimes it moves like really fast, so I might not see everything. But yeah, so I'll give it like maybe another minute to start just in case people are trying to find me, because it can be tricky to find sometimes the live. So yeah. And yes, so I did go over the colors. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I will be teaching this step by step, and at any time that you have a question, just say like, hey, I have a question, and I will of course answer that, and we will go from there. And I'll kind of just like ask people for like thumbs up, or like just type like I'm ready for the next step, and I'll go with the majority. So yes, the colors, yes, I will go over that again. No worries. So I have blue, brown, black, and white, red, and green. So my brown, it looks pretty dark. It's like a darker brown, and I have like a darker green. But don't worry if you don't have that, because you can lighten it. And yeah, no problem. Just trying to take the plastic off my paint tops. Oh, I know. Yeah, no problem, Julie. It'll be up for you. And anybody else that's missing it. So, and yes, this is acrylic. You can use watercolor or oil. I just don't know as much about that. I'm more of an acrylic painter. And I love painting landscapes. So, yeah. Let's go over the brushes too then before we start. So, today I'm using a flat brush. So I have a flat brush, it's a little bit larger. It's not too big, not too small. Then I have a round brush, and I also have this like frilled old brush here, and that can be used to make textures for these leaves. And then I have just a smaller brush. It's a flat brush. It can be any smaller brush just to help with, for finer details with the branches. And I'll move this back into the camera view, don't worry. Okay. So yeah, I have behind me my blank canvas. I'm just going to turn that so you guys can see that better. And I'm going to put this up behind me here. And I'll see if you guys can see that. Yeah, okay, so perfect. So you can see that's what we're making. And then I'll teach you, of course, step by step here. And yeah, if you need it closer at any time, just let me know. Okay, so it's a 12 by 16 canvas, but you're welcome to use any size. I also put in the description a sponge, so it's the same technique with either or to do the leaves. So either like some old frilled brush or a sponge works great. This is called a sea sponge, but any sponge really is fine. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to have so much fun tonight. I love to paint, so I love to share this passion with you all. Hi, will this be uploaded as a video when you're done? Yep, it'll be uploaded. This class will probably be like, I would say like an hour and a half-ish, and it'll be up after that, as soon as it uploads. Okay. Alright, so you guys can see that okay there. And I have a little bit of music in the background, and I don't own the rights, so I have to say that for Facebook. But feel free to play your own jam in the background. Oh, yay, welcome. Alright, so we're going to use this flat brush, the larger brush here. We're going to wet our brush. So I have some water there, and I'm just tapping it in the water and then on my napkin. Oh, sorry, there's a question. It appears there's a black wall hiding your painting. Can you show your beautiful canvas? Yeah, do you see it better now? I know I had it in a weird view. Just beginning, I'll show myself, and then afterwards I'll show the painting. Oh, you're welcome. New here, can't wait to paint. Oh, welcome. So excited to have you. All right, so yes, I have wet this large flat fill brush here. And we're going to dip into white. So I have white on my palette here. Okay, and I'm just covering both sides of the brush. Hi. And what we're going to do is so if you've been coming with me for a while, you know that I enjoy to cover the whole thing, the whole canvas here in white. And I know you're like, what? This is white already. This is because it just helps with when we do the other layers of the paint, it helps to have something underneath that the paint can absorb into besides just the canvas. So we're going to go ahead and just cover this whole canvas with white. And basically we're priming it. And you can go back and forth or up and down. It does not matter. I'm just going to go back and forth. And I do put a fair bit of white on here. So I don't make it like super thin. It's also great because if this stays a little bit wet, we can actually use that to be able to blend easier in the future. So we're just painting the whole thing white. Okay, so I've seen some comments, but I'm being spammed like crazy by this person. Don't forget the beverage. Oh yeah, I do have that actually. So cheers. I have some wine tonight. I also have my beautiful cup of water that my friend Chelsea got made for me for my birthday. It says, living the creative life. Love it. Yeah, we're just covering this whole canvas here with white. And I am dipping in water just every now and then and just kind of dabbing it into the paint. So that way when I place it on the canvas, it's moving a little bit easier for me. A little bit smoother. Cheers. Cheers. So this will kind of just warm up our hands. I actually haven't had much time to paint lately, so this is exciting. There we go. So I'm just coating the whole thing. And I am putting it on quite thickly, so doing like a section, you know, a little bit here, maybe all the way across, and then getting more white. So I'm probably going to use up the majority of this white that I have here. Just because I want it to stay wet a little longer. Because you'll see for the next step. It just makes it so much easier. It's called wet on wet technique. I'm doing watercolors need to get white paint. Yes. You could maybe get away with doing this without white. Maybe? You'd have to pick some different colors. I mean, anytime like you want to change something, you're more than welcome. If you don't want the pink trees, feel free to change them to green. This is your painting. I'm here as a guide. And even though we're all painting the same thing, we're all going to have something so unique. And even though I'm like recreating my own art, it's going to be similar but different. And that's what I love about art. All right, so we got this whole canvas coated in white. So yeah, just give me a heart or some thumbs up, letting me know you're good. I'm not cleaning this brush, so I'm still using this flat brush here, not cleaning it off. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the blue. Okay, so I have blue here, and my brush still has some white on there, so I'm not cleaning it. And I'm just dabbing into the blue, just on the corner. You know, I'm not doing the whole thing, just on a little bit like that. Okay, so lots of hearts, good. Okay, so now this is wet, so this is perfect for us. So now we're going to go up at the top, and we're going to be going back and forth. The key with blending is going from one side all the way across before moving down. So let's get a little water on there. I'm just going to add a little water and put it in with my blue. Just like a little bit there. Hi. And I'm just going to go back and forth. And you can do your sides as well. So I'm just kind of getting the edges at the top here. I normally don't do the sides, but I will try to remember for you guys. That is if you have a canvas that's a little bit wider. Okay, so we're just using the blue, and we're just going back and forth. And see how it's like kind of dark there because I put the blue right on, but now I'm blending it out. So basically the top is like a darker blue, right? Darker up towards the top of the canvas, but then as we come down, it's going to get a lot lighter. So that's the key. You just want to make sure that it's darker here, and as we get down to about here, even all the way down, it's just lighter. Okay, so I'm going to say maybe a little bit more of the blue here. Just a little bit more. That way we have some stuff to work with and blending it down. Okay, so I'm just blending it right across. Sometimes in a section, like if it's being stubborn, I'll go like back and forth like this, like quicker. If you're just wondering there what I was doing, that really smoothens it. But see, by going back and forth, I'm just really smoothing that out. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions as we go. So now what I'm going to do, make sure you still have some white. We're going to start to bring it down now, but we're going to be using some white and a little bit of blue just because we want it to be faded and become lighter. What brands of paint? So good question. I actually forgot to say what brands they are. So I use Basics, Liquitex Basics. I really like them. I find it's like not too thin and not too thick. So Liquitex Basics I use, and sometimes I actually use like a mix of both Basics and Amsterdam brand, which is also pretty good too. Okay, so I'm not cleaning the brush still. So I'm still using this flat brush, but I'm going to dip into direct white now. So I'm just dipping into my white. Okay, and I'm going right on top of where this blue is. I'm going right on top, and I'm going to go all the way across. Okay, and I'm going to smoothen it, and I'm going to start to bring it down. So we're going to gradually decrease this. Okay, so I'm just bringing it down. You can use a little water, because it will be starting to dry. So you can just use some water to help you move it around if needed. Really depends on your paint. If you have the dollar store one, like not that there's anything wrong with it, I just find it's a little thinner. So maybe just don't use as much water with that. Okay, and so this is just literally just white, but because I had a little bit of like leftover blue on my brush, and because we went right on top of where the blue is, you'll have like this faint look of blue here. And I'm just going back and forth. So yeah, do your sides. I'm going to work on those. Okay, you can do the sides if you have them. Okay, so you see how it's darker and it's becoming lighter. Hello, Lisa. Sorry, I'm just unclear with that. What you're asking or saying? Okay, so let me know how you're doing there. I'm just taking some white again on my brush, but I'm like going to add just like literally a dot of blue. So I have white on the brush, but then over here I just took like a dot of blue, and then I'll just kind of stir that around because I want it to be really light. I'm actually going to add even more white. So it's like 5 or 6 parts white and like 1 little part blue. Okay, and then we're going to do that. So just to kind of match those colors we already have. As long as you can tell it's darker here and getting lighter, you're all good. I just keep going back and forth. Blending is so much easier when it's wet. What do you guys think of the blending so far? Just making more of my light blue. Just that lighter blue. Do you have a question, Anita? So I'm just putting on that nice light blue, blending back and forth. And we're going to be going to, you can go basically to the bottom. There is hills here. So I would say to go down to at least like where your hand is. You're going to want to, you can go down to about here, where I've left like 3 hands, or 3 fingers, or about a hand. So I'll kind of mark that out for you so you can see, but I'm just going down about here. Okay, and that's just the white and a little bit of blue. You guys can see and hear me okay, right? I'm not just in this room talking to myself. I just can't believe it's been a year since I've been going live. When the pandemic hit, I thought, you know what, like I used to do classes in person, and I still do now, like when I can. And I thought, you know what, like I know how beneficial art is, and I know how like calming it is, so I just wanted to put it out there for people to enjoy. Oh, good, okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure because I saw some people like doing the question mark, and I was like, was my video cutting out or something? Okay, so this is what I have. It's very like faded blue, so it's just darker here, and it's just very light going down. As long as you can see that there is like a light blue here, then you're good. Awesome. Okay, so there's our background. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on our hills. So I'm just have my brush now in the water. So we're going to clean that one off. And we'll actually be using, we can use a medium-sized brush. So I'm going to use this round brush here. Or you can use a smaller, like flat brush. Okay, so I'm going to wet my medium round brush. Take a drink. Okay, so we are going to need blue and white and brown. So I'm just going to refresh my paint. I just need more white on my palette. Okay, so we're going to need blue, white, and brown for the next step. So I'm going to scoop a little bit of brown. Okay, and I'm just going to put it somewhere else on my palette. A little bit of blue. Okay, so it's about 1 part brown, 1 part blue, and then I'm going to use it white. So that's what I have there. There's a little more white than there is brown and blue. Okay, and then we're just going to take that and stir it together. So we're just looking for like this kind of, we want this color to pop out from the background, but we don't want it to be too light or too dark. Now this is the middle ground of the hills. So I'll explain why we're going to do the middle one first. So this one here, the largest one, this is a mix of brown, blue, and white. This is the one that's right up close, so you're going to see more details. And this one is super far away. So that is very like faded. So we're going to do the middle one just so we know where to put our faraway hills and where to put our close-up hill. Okay, so I mixed blue, blue, brown, and white. Oh, good. Cheers. Okay, so I know this is going to be backwards for you guys, but I'm going to be putting my trees on my left side. So this hill is highest on my right. So if I start over here and I just kind of mark out, so it's about in the middle, maybe a little bit lower than the middle that this hill is starting. Okay. I'm just actually going to add a little bit more paint there. Okay. On my brush. So I'm going to just go down and just have fun with this. Make these like rolling hills. So I'm like going down, going up, and then I'm going down and across. So I'll leave that for you to see. And then this could always be adjusted, right? Like you can be like, oh, like maybe I want it a little higher. That's, just make it a little bit taller. Maybe I'll make mine a little bit taller here. Okay. And we're going to fill this area in. So I'm just taking this brown, blue, and white mixture. And I'm just filling that in. Okay, and you can go to the bottom. That's fine. There will be another hill there later on as the green one, but we'll put this here for now. Okay, so we're just filling that in, just going back and forth, kind of streaking it in there. Hills, could be a little bumpier and more textured, so. Okay. Might need to make up more paint like me. I use a lot of paint. I paint quite thickly. I like this mixture. It's like this pretty grayish blue color, but with the brown in there, it just adds different variation. So we're just working on filling in our hill area. So I'm just following those shape, right? It's curving down here. There's really no right or wrong way to paint this in. You can get out your flat brush and fill this in too. Whatever works easier for you. We will be adding a little more brown just on the edge, like in the original above too. But for now, this will be what we fill it in with. Yes, Peggy, it's available tomorrow. It'll actually be available like tonight. Once I'm done the live, it'll be uploaded. You'll find it in the video sections, but you'll also find it like on the main page too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's hard for me to like ban or anything while I'm in the live, so. I had so many of them pop up, like, kept getting so many notifications before I went live of these people, like, spamming. I don't know how they find it and how they have the time to do this. I'm just mixing up more paint again. You guys might already have this filled in, but I'm just kind of, just got my blue and brown and white, just mixing it up. Okay. So as long as this color stands out from your background, that's great. Oh, thanks. Welcome. I'm just following these edges here. I'm trying to keep it smooth on the hill. Like up here anyways. So I'll take a step back and just see, do I like the height? Do I like the shape? It's easy to change that. As long as you got a couple rolls in there. Got 1, 2, 3, something like that. Wait, am I going too fast? I'm trying to imagine as if I am with you. So I'm just filling this in. I made the hill shape, and then I'm just filling it in. These are just the rolling hills. I just have this little spot to fill in there. And that's with the gray, or the blue, the white, and the brown, which makes this like grayish color. I like this color. Really cool. Okay. All right. So that's what I have. Let me know if you're good. Give me a heart or thumbs up. I'm just cleaning it off, my brush. It's getting off some of the extra paint on there. Kind of builds up after a while. Okay, so I'm going to go into some brown now. Just some brown here. And because this is still wet, I want to put the brown on now. Because I don't want the brown to like pop out at us. I don't want it to be like, whoa, like I just want it to be able to blend in. So this is what I'm talking about. It's a little bit of brown here on the edges that I made. Okay, so I have brown and I'm still using that round brush. So this here, so I'm just going to kind of just go back and forth. I'm kind of swooping on this brown. So see how it's wet? By doing this and swooping back and forth, you can tell that it's there, but it's not like super bold and standing out. Unless you like it like that, then you're welcome to do that, of course. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Like art can literally be anything. Like there's those people out there that just splash paint on the canvas and that, you know, that just looks so cool. And it's like, wow, like it's art. I just love art. Okay, so I'm just outlining the edges with brown. And I'm blending it in. So I'm just kind of going back and forth and softening it, basically. Yeah. Yeah, so we made the hill with the blue and the white and the brown mixture here, right? And we filled that in. But now we're just using direct brown. And we're just adding it a little bit on the edges. It's just kind of think of it like a shadow, right? Just something to create different depth. Like this could be even another layer on the hill. So that's the brown here that I'm talking about. That you can see. It's kind of faintly in there. I hope that answers your question. Oh, good. You're welcome. And I just went up the hill a little bit. So yeah, I'm just blending it in. Because it is wet, it won't stand out too much. If it does, you're going to want to put a little bit of the blue and white mixture on it just so it's not super brown up there. Okay, so something like that. And if you go all the way or even part way, that's fine too. It's just a little bit different variation in there. Spicing it up. Okay, good. See lots of thumbs up. I'm sure you guys are doing awesome. I know I would love to see your art as we do this, but you know, it's all good. I like to see the pictures after. Okay, so now I still have that bluish brown mix here, just left over. I'm going to use the same brush. So clean it off from the brown and then dip it into the blue, the white, and the brown mix if you still have it. So just that. And we're just going to tap out a little bit of distant trees on the hill. So up over here on the highest point of the hill, I'm going to use the brush just like this, upside down. And I'm coming and I'm just literally tapping these little hills or these little trees on the hill. So I'm just taking that and just tapping it with the blue, the brown, and the white mix. Just a little bit. So they're just far, far away, distant pine trees or evergreens or bushes. Make sure you make them different heights. So, you know, some are a little taller and smaller and that they're not just all the one shape. And then just clean it off your brush once you've done that. And just kind of just go over the bottom. And just smooth in the bottom just a little bit. And sometimes I use my finger. Yeah, I lost some paint there when I touched it. Alright, and that's it. That's it a little bit closer up. Cool, eh? Let me know if you have questions about those. Don't think too much about them and just tap. Tap away. If you want to do them more on them, like on down the hills and stuff too, feel free. I'm just doing the original. But I always love if like people add in their own little, you know, little tech, little skill or little ideas in there. Okay, so we're going to work on the very faint hill that's up here. I'll point to that. We're going to work on this one here. It's very far away, so it's just very light, kind of similar to the background here, but just a little darker, obviously, so it can stand out. Okay, so that is just going to be blue and white. So I'm just going to mix some blue and some white. Just like that. Just like our sky. But I will add like a dot of brown. So there's like just a little bit of a difference. But it's lighter than the other colors. So make sure it's more of a light blue. That's the color there. Sorry, I was like mixing it not in the camera. So a little bit of blue, white, and like a dot of brown, but mostly blue and white. So it's over here it's on my left side. So it's opposite of these other trees over here. And I just have a little hill. So it's about something like this. And just make sure it stands out from your sky. Okay, so I'll just bring it closer. Might be hard to see. There's just that little far away hill right here. And I made it kind of coming into this hill here on an angle. Hi, Barb. Hi, Yana. Once you have the general shape of the hill, you can fill that in. And when you fill it in, leave the bottom just the color that it is. So leave here, just so it looks like it's like so far away that we can't even tell where the bottom is, right? Like maybe it's mist over there. So as long as you leave like a little bit of that kind of white area at the bottom between this hill and this one, then that will create like that just illusion that it's so far and it could be misty there. So very similar to the sky. To the sky color, I should say. Ooh, that'd be cool. I wish the best for your daughter who wants to become a famous artist. She can do it. Anybody can do it. Slow down? Sure, sorry, Annette. Does anybody need me to go over any steps so far? Kind of just got a little bit on this hill, so I'm just kind of blending that in just a tad. Okay. Hi. Okay, let me know how you're doing. If you need any extra step or anything, or a different way to show you. Yeah. Okay, so the trees was the same color here, so it's blue, white, and brown. And what I did is I just used this round brush. Sorry, I'm just cleaning it off. So I just used this round brush here. Oh, sure, no problem. And I'll just mimic it. So just using the flat side of the brown brush. It's already like looking like a shape of a tree, right? So literally I just took it And all I did is I just dabbed. So I just went dab, dab, dab. And I just thought about kind of going up and down with the dabbing. So basically I just used the brush to make the size of the trees. No, I'm right-handed. I'm actually holding it with my left and then I'm painting with my right. And I was doing it upside down. So I came in from the top. So if I was having my canvas on the easel, it would be the same thing. I would just flip my brush upside down and then I would just tap. And I would just think, okay, like let's go a little bit higher. In one spot, a little bit lower. You know, that way the trees or these bushes are just looking different. I hope that helps. And then for the other hill, it was just a little bit more. So even if you had that brown and white and blue mixture there, just add a little bit more white to it and then do this small hill here. You just want it to look a little bit lighter than here, but not as light as the sky. That's the trick, to show that this is far away and this is more in the middle ground, right? And then once we put our other hill here at the bottom, then that's really going to push this one back because that one is all we see right now. Hi. Hi, Chris. Hi, Dad. Hola. Okay, so let me know where you guys are at, and I will show you how to make the very bottom hill, which is the green one. Okay? So I can give you a couple minutes to catch up. It's all good. Yes, it is high on the right. So my smaller distant hill is on my left. I know it's weird because we're backwards in the camera, but on my right side, yeah, I made my hill going up really high, and then this one was lower, just so it's different, right? I don't want them to be similar on both sides, then it's not going to look as like organic and as like natural as nature could be, right? I always try to think of that too, like nature is not perfect, right? Like it's very random. Yeah, me too. Yeah, and if you feel more comfortable using the flat, so if you did these trees with the flat, you can do the same thing. You could just take the canvas and just dab on that too. Any brush really works just fine to do those. So you could try that too. Hi. Okay, so you guys ready for the bottom hill for the green one? We're going to be using blue and white and brown and green. Just because these colors are in our painting and you want to incorporate them in the bottom it really just ties in that like natural flow. Ooh, there's like a really cool sunset outside right now. I just got distracted looking out the window. My trees are both colors. The bluish and the brownish. Yeah, that's perfect. That's very good. You want that. You don't want it to all be the same. I'll show you in the original, too, what they look like. There was a little bit of brown in there. And yeah, it's about as high as this one, too. Try to make it similar. Can never recreate the exact same painting, which is why they call them an original, right? Because it's literally the only one that's going to be that. Like, I myself will not be able to make the same art as I made. Do you have a brush brand you like? Yeah, I do like Windsor brand. And I like this brand too. What is this called? Creative Mark. It's a really nice brush. And I haven't had any trouble with the bristles, right? Like some brushes, like you lose all the bristles. And that's who wants that? That's just annoying. Unless you're doing a textured art, then maybe you could be all right with it, right? Okay, so let's work on that bottom hill. So like I said, we're going to need blue and white and our brown mix, which you might still already have, which is great. If you don't, make it again, but then we're going to add green to it. So just going to use that round brush still. You can use a flat brush, like maybe this time I'll use my smaller flat brush and do that. Really, it doesn't matter what brush, to be honest. So. Okay, so I have blue here. I'm just going to add some brown because I lost my mix there. I'm going to add, so I have blue, help me go in the camera, blue, white, brown, and then mix that together. Oh, add a little more white. Okay, and then I'm going to add my green. So I'm just scooping that in there. So I took a fair bit of green. So a nice green there. Maybe I will add a little more brown to it. And it can look like different colors too. Like if it's not all perfectly blended, that's fine. Oh no. Okay. So anyways, we're going to work on the very last hill before we move on to the trees at the top. So this hill is at the bottom and the generalized shape for it. So I was thinking about 2 fingers here. So this is on my left and that's about as high as I'm going to have it. Because I want to be able to still see this hill. So if you want to make it a little higher or shorter, that's totally fine. But this is just a rough estimate of it. So then I'm just taking it and I'm making sure that these hills don't match the ones down here. Okay, so this one curves here. So now this one I'm making a little bit longer and it really just creates different variation. Okay, so then I'm going up again and maybe down a little bit and then down and around and I'll like end it here. So that's kind of, I just wanted to go ahead there so you can kind of see, but really just have fun and make a little hill at the bottom. So just, you know, it's a little bit bumpier, a little round, went down a bit and up a bit and then down. I'll just leave that up for, that way you can see the shape of it. And then, but if you are ready for that, you can just fill it right in, go right to the bottom. Good. Hearts and thumbs. That really helps me. Okay, so I'm going to fill it in now. So now I'm just kind of going back and forth. And it's cool because if there's a little bit of brown that kind of comes through, or that bluish color, like it just adds depth. So don't worry too much about what it's looking like. You want multiple colors. I know it's a little harder to see. There we go. So I'm just going with this little tiny flat brush. And you can use the round still. It really doesn't matter what brush you have. You're just going back and forth and filling that in. Oops. And if it's looking like it's just too green, pick up a little brown or a little bit of that bluish white mixture and just add it in a little bit, and it just helps break it apart. So it's not just green, right? You want it to kind of match a little bit, blending in with some of the colors that are here. It's always, there's an undertone of blue and white, so it's good to apply that. Okay, so it's all filled in. I'm putting that brush in the water now that I'm done. So this is what I have so far. And I'll just bring it a little closer so you can kind of see like my green is not just green. There's a little bit of like that brown tone in there, and the blue and white is there, but it's like, it's going not to stand out as much because of the brown and the green, but it's underneath there, and that's what matters. Okay, and I'll just kind of fade it, zooming out. Okay, so we have our background, we have our far away hill, we have our middle ground hill, and then our close up. Oh, woo. So the next thing we'll be doing is the trees. So we'll work on our branches. So this is a tree that's coming out from the side, right? So we're going to have one coming here and about here. And we're going to put on all these little branches. And then we'll get to the super fun part with a sponge or one of these old bristle brushes. And we'll just dab away and make cool leaves. And then we'll learn how to make a little bit more detailed flowers, right? Because cherry blossoms have like they're basically a flower tree, which are so beautiful. So I can't wait. I actually have one in my yard, I believe. I remember seeing it. All right, so for the next step, we're gonna need the round brush or the flat. You could do the flat. I'm just gonna use the round. That's what I feel like will just be a little bit better for the branches because it's thinner at the top. So, but I feel like people just get a favorite brush. So, like usually mine's a filbert, but I didn't use a filbert for this painting, which I was shocked by. And if you're wondering what a filbert is, it's a mix between a round and a flat. That's a filbert. I didn't use that in this painting though. I'm not perfect. Okay, so we're going to just need brown. So if you don't have a super dark brown, I would add a little bit of black to it. So I'm just going to use some brown here. Taking my brown, and I'm just spinning my brush on there. And I'll add a little black to there, so it's a little darker. Okay, and we're going to work on our trees. So we'll work on this one first, and then that one at the top. So this one is coming out of the side. So this is all on my left. And it's covering part of this little distant hill here. And I have it going on an angle like this. So this is the way it is. So it's not like this. It's not like that. It's like this on an angle. So I'm basically thinking that it's going to come from about here. Okay. And it's going up like that. It doesn't have to be that precise, but you know, sometimes people like to be more exact about it, but really you can just pick a spot that's on the hill and just go for it if you're feeling that way too. Okay, so always with this, with branches and stuff, it's going to be a little thicker here, because this is the trunk, right? This is the heavier part. This is going to be able to hold all of these leaves and all these other branches. So you want this to be thicker. I know right now it's not thick, but I will make it thick. So we'll start it thin, and then we're going to work on making this thicker here to support our tree. And I'm just adding a little water to my blue and black and just stirring it in, just so the paint can flow easier for me as I do this. Okay, so I'm just growing this branch here. And I'm going to have it to about that middle-ish point. Okay? So that's about the height of that I have so far. And actually, while we're here, we'll leave this one, and then we'll go here too, just so we know where this one is, so we don't end up like losing the opportunity for it, right? Because that could happen. So I'll mark that out just like that for now. It's kind of the rough idea where this bottom tree is, and then we'll go up here and we'll work on that one, and then we'll start to thicken it, of course. Okay, so now I'm going up here, and this one is laying a little more flat, but it's just on a slight angle. So it's not flat, but it's on a little bit of an angle too. So I'm going to say about here. And I'm just branching it out, so then in coming out a little bit like this, a little bit of a flat but yet angled motion. And because I have a little water in with my brown and black, it's moving easily for me. Okay, and you can make that go right off the canvas if you like. Okay, so now we know roughly where each tree is, so we don't end up putting branches like way up here and then not having space for them. Okay, so everybody's good. So I'm going to go back down here and I'm going to thicken this one up. So I'm coming above it and I'm just going to cover part of, like, so now this hill is going to be a little bit, so on the edge it's going to be covered. That's what I'm trying to say there. Okay, so I'm just filling that in. So it's thicker here, it's going to support everything. And then I'm going to start to slowly thicken this area too. For using an 8x10, should we leave just one? Yeah, I would say just one. Unless you made like them really small. But I feel like with an 8x10, it would just look better with just one. That way you could have a little more detail. If you ever want to do this one again, it'll just be in the video section, so you can always buy a larger canvas and do 2 or 3 or whatever you like. Like, you can even put one on this side. Like, there's so many options. I like to leave it kind of open-ended for people, too, to add. Okay, so now I'm just going to start adding on branches. So I've made this bulk thicker, but now at the top, it's a little thicker here, so I'm just going to use the little tip here of my brush, so it's like, it's thinner on my round brush, right? So I'm just using the tip, and that's what I'm going to use to pull out branches. So I'm basically just flicking. Oh, you're welcome. Can add a little water to your paint if you need to, and just kind of, I just dabbed a little water into my blue and brown, sorry, not blue, black and brown mix, so that way it can easily move. Okay, so now I'm just going to go for making these. These are just random branches like nature is. They just grow where they like. So I'm just going to go up, and maybe I'm going to go straight. So I'm kind of thinking like a V at the end, right? You can do a V at the end there. Maybe I'll go down here and I'll just bend a branch going towards the hill. Maybe over here I will go up. Just thinking of V's. Trying my best to keep the very end thinner, right? And a little bit thicker towards the trunk. It's kind of the little keys there that you need to do. And you can put as many branches as you like. Okay. So try not to go too fast on you for the branches, because it's really fun, and like once you get started on, you're just going to want to make a million of them. So just be sure to like take a step back and just see like, how am I doing with this? Do I want to add more, right? Like, do I not? So it's always good to do a little moment of reflection. Okay, I'm just going to add more branches to the branches. Maybe not on every single one, but just adding different branches here and there. And I also have a little one over here that I liked. So I just made him kind of going up straight, and then he just curved a little bit. Kind of looks like a Y. But if I don't want it to look like a Y, literally, I'll just add a branch. And then it looks more realistic. That's how you can make things more realistic too. Just add something else to them. Once we put in the leaves, we can always go back and add more branches too. Make sure you do your edges, the sides of your canvas if you're doing those. I totally forgot again, so I usually just paint the edges of my canvas black, so when I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for this one, and I'm going to go up to the other tree. Then I can always come back here and see, you know, do I want to or not, right? It's always good to kind of take your time with it so you don't overdo it or underdo it. Okay, so yeah, this needs to be way thicker, right? This is a heavy branch, so I'm going to make this thicker. So I'll kind of just outline it for you, and then you can see. that's where I'm thickening the tree. Maybe I'll make it a little thicker here too. Just like that. And I'm just filling that in with the brown and the black mix. Okay, so that's what I have so far. And you can go ahead and put branches on if you're having fun with that. So for the branches, I'm going to make one come out of over here. I'm just going to grow that straight up. And then maybe I'll go over here. So this one at the top, I do have more branches than I did at the bottom. Maybe I'll have one coming out. So I like to make them kind of falling down towards the other one. You can make some straight, some as a V, some have a little curve in them, right? Like maybe you grow one and it has a little bump. You can like, some people like a technique, you can twirl your brush and it can create like a, so if you're making a branch and you just kind of twirl your brush, it'll actually create like a little bit of a bumpier branch for you. So I don't know if you can see it, but if I'm twirling, then it just kind of creates like just a different type of branch. Like it's very, there's a lot going on there. It's very different compared to the other V's and stuff, right? So that way it's a little more different. And then I have a whole whack of them coming down here. So I really wanted to fill this area with the leaves, so I'm going to make a bunch of them. They can be long. Long and short. Some of them long, some of them short. Let me know how you're doing with the branches. So these ones I'm making them grow downwards towards the hill. And like I said, we can always add more later. I did in this original, I put some leaves in, but then once I knew where the leaves were a little bit more, I added in some more branches. So I can show you that after. Okay, maybe I'll make one over here and over here. Just think of where you want to put leaves and then make branches there. You may already be done, maybe you're not. Just take a step back and see, you know, the whole thing. Like, do I need more branches? Maybe there's something you didn't like. You can totally cover it up with leaves, so don't worry. Okay, so maybe I'll just do a little bit more here. It's kind of like I just want to keep doing them, so maybe you feel the same way, or maybe you're like, oh, I don't want more branches. But and some branches can overlap other branches too. So like here, I made one overlap. So the more overlapping creates different variation. Okay, so I'm just looking at this one. If you have a thicker area, just like you can balance it out by, okay, over here, say over here is thick, I'll make over here a little thicker to balance that out. So if there's something like that going on, that's a little something you could do. Okay, so how are you guys doing? You ready for the leaves? And then we can always add branches after. So I'm going to stop because I'll end up with too many of them. So let me know where you're at, or if you need more time. Or just do thumbs or hearts up, and then we'll get to the leaves. I'm so excited to see these after. Alright, put all your brushes in the water, minus your frilled brush, or you can get out your sponge. Please, more time. Oh, sure, no worries. So I'll just give it like another minute. I'll just talk about the two options you can do. So you can either use this frilled brush. So it's like very old, right? You can see all these bristles. These come in handy for leaves or bushes. So you know those brushes we were saying, like how the bristles come out? At least we can make use of them for something. I'm glad you're having fun. Okay, so you can either use something like this, or you can find a sponge. It can be any sponge. If you have a sponge, you're going to want to wet it. If you have the frilled brush, don't wet it, okay? Because these soak up so much water. So I am going to show you the sponge technique first, and then I'll also show you the frilled brush, which I'm keeping dry. So dry, and this sponge you wet, okay? I like your fat brush. Yeah. Okay. So the flowers and the leaves and the trees here are pink and red. So you make pink with red and white, of course. So with my sponge, I'll show you that first. So I'll just start with the red. I'm just taking that and just using a corner. Okay, and you can do the same thing with the brush. Okay, so I have just red here. And wherever I have branches, and even where there's not, you can put these flowers or leaves, right? It's a kind of a mix of both in this tree. So I'm just going to start by just dabbing the sponge. So I'm just showing you the sponge, and I'm just thinking, okay, I have a branch, and I'm putting it on it. So I'm not just doing it at the end, right? Like I'm going into the tree too. Okay, so that's with the sponge, but then with the brush, so I've left it dry, and I'm just going into red, and I'm doing the same thing. So you can see, what you have. Maybe you have both. You can see which one you like, or you can just use whatever you have. So that's why I just wanted to show you with both. Is this cadmium red? No, this is actually Napoleon red deep. So cadmium red is actually perfect because it's a little lighter. I actually ran out of cadmium red, which I believe is what I put in the description because that's what I have in the original. So you're good. Okay, so we'll just do the red. We'll start with just the top tree. That way it doesn't get too dry because I want to be able to put the white on, right? This is what we're going to do next. So right now it's pretty red, and then we're going to add white. Okay, so I'm just sticking to this top tree for now, and I'm actually liking the brush right now over the sponge, so that's my preference. Okay, so that's what I have. So I didn't think too much about it, I just had fun. I love doing the sponging or the dabbing technique. Alright, and then I'm not going to clean my brush, but I'm just kind of wiping off some of the red. With these brushes, like, you don't want to clean it off because once it gets wet, it just holds so much water. And then it's no fun. So now I'm just going into white. Okay? Because this is still wet, that's perfect. I'm using the white, and I'm just adding in the white, which is turning pink. And I'm leaving still some red showing, right? And I'm just kind of randomly placing it here. So I'm trying not to go too fast because it's so easy to I could just go dab, 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 dab. But I'm trying not to. So I am leaving a little bit of the red because you want to see that there is darks and lights in this tree. can also just make pink too if you want. Just mix the red and the white and make some pink. If you find that if it's too white, just make pink. There we go. Having fun? Looks so cool. And then just take a step back and like see, you know, is it filled in enough for me, or like did I cover, like did I go over some of the branches, right? Like you don't want to just leave all the branches showing too much. Like you do want some of them to be covered, just like natural in nature. So this is when you could take the brown, and I'm just going to use a flat brush. And that's when you can, like, if you see a branch, you can just kind of tap it up and you can like add it back in. So let me give you an example. So over here kind of got a little lost. So if I just took my brown and just kind of tapped along and just added a little bit of the brown and black back to it. That's too black, but just to show that there is some branches there. Like it can be a little bit covered, of course, but if you lost too many, this is what you would do. But it looks really nice if you start to add in more of them. Like, see how I did that there, where it's like I have an area where I've sponged a lot, or I've put the brush, and then I'm just taking some areas and just adding in branches. And if you use the flat brush, it's actually nice because it literally just is already flat for you, right? It's already thin enough that you can just literally just use it on the edge and just tap in the brown black. And you might not want to, like maybe your branches are still showing a fair bit. Like this is just something you can do. And if you get something like that, where I was like, got too thick, I will be letting it dry a little more and then just putting my leaf back on top. So I'm happy this happened. So you can see, you know, I'm not no perfect painter. We all make mistakes. Okay, so I'm just kind of having fun adding the branches back in. See, now here it's just a line, right? Like that doesn't look as natural. So maybe now I would put a branch here, and it just made such a difference. So all of our trees are going to be so different here. So it'll be kind of up to you. I'm just going to try to cover that. There we go. I see claps. So it's the same thing underneath. And then we will add some cool flowers to them. So now I'm just going to the other bottom tree. It's the same thing. Maybe you already went down here, and that's totally cool. I just wanted to take it a little bit slower, if I could, just to show you that and get used to it before we went to the other tree. And there we go. I need more white. Now there is some of this pink color that has fallen on the ground. So you can also go down to your hill. Thanks, Adam. You can also go down to your hill and just add a little bit of leaves at the bottom. They're just very random, sitting on this hill. See that down there? You can even use your finger and just kind of fade it in. What I mean by that is just more of a blending, or you can just use another brush that's dry and just kind of tapping it in, and it just really like kind of softens it down there. So the leaves have fallen, but then I just literally am tapping them on with my finger just to blend them. A little bit of finger painting, or just use a dry brush if you don't want to do that. And I'm just looking at my tree to see, like, is there too much pink? Is there too much white? You want to be able to still see some of the red, right? Like, you do want different variation here. You want it to be a little dark and light. There's a lot of variety in the color. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Helene. You are awesome too. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, everyone. But don't worry, I'm not done. Hope to paint this weekend. Yeah, good night. I hope you get to paint too. Okay, so I'm just putting that brush in the water because I won't need it anymore. I don't want to go too leaf crazy because that can happen. So just maybe stop if you're like leaf crazy. So then I'm just going to add in some of my branches again with a flat brush, just using the edge. So you can tell the difference from up here, like you can still kind of see them. But then down here, right, it's like there's just like a blob, right? But I'm going to add just a little dab. I see that there could be a little branch here, right? Like you just kind of have to envision what's underneath of these leaves. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you do it like tonight, if you're doing it tonight, I would love to see video, like, or not a video, a photo of you painting it, or just the painting. It's totally cool too. And yeah, and if you do it on replay, just hashtag replay and post a photo of your art, because I would love to see that. You're from Arizona. Cool. I would love to go there. Probably nice and warm there. I'm from Ontario in Listowel, so it's getting warmer. The snow has mostly melted. So I'm just adding in branches where I feel that I would need them. So I'm just imagining what's underneath, right? Like how here. So this branch I have, and it's covered here, which is great. You want it to be a little bit covered, right, in some spots. But at the end, it's like all of a sudden there's just this big bunch of leaves, right? That doesn't look real to me. So then I'm going to add another branch to support, to show like, yeah, there's a lot of leaves there for a reason. So just try to think of what's underneath of your leaves. So many techniques you can learn in painting. And everybody has their own style, whether they know it or not. We're all creative in our own way. Okay. So I'm just looking at mine, seeing, do I want to add more of something? And no, I don't, because I want to get into the flowers. But I'm going to make sure that you guys are good, and that we're not going to I'm not going to go too fast on you. Okay, so I've seen some comments here. Bye from Arizona. Good night. I joined in late. How can I see the beginning? Okay, yeah, so no problem. I'm almost done the painting for tonight. Just have one more step, and as soon as I'm done the live, it will be posted on my page. So then you will be able to see the whole thing. And I'm not taking it down, and you'll find it also in the video section. We are in springtime. Ooh, we are almost in springtime here. Thanks from Trinity and Tobago. Very cool. I love this. So cool how I've found so many people from all over the world. Love it. If you ever have any ideas for paintings you'd like to see, just please feel free to shout them out or write it on my page as a request. Like, I'm totally open to taking requests. I really love doing landscapes or like silhouettes. You're welcome. So I'm actually not done. I have one more step for you guys. One more. So you guys are good. Are you ready for that next step? It's just some flowers in the tree. So these are the leaves, kind of distant flowers. But then we're going to add the actual flowers that like pop out at you. Okay. And if you have to go, it's all good because this will just be up when I'm done and you can finish it when is convenient for you. So you're welcome. From Calgary. Cool. Love Calgary. Sweet pea vines, my mom's favorite flower. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear. Do I have a tip jar? No, I don't. But if you feel inclined, I can accept an e-transfer. So my email is meganmike5836@hotmail.com. I think I can type it in here. Let me see. Oh yeah, I can. I didn't know I can type in lives. Okay, so 1 second here. Thank you. And don't feel obligated to anybody. I don't expect that. But, I mean, it's always appreciated and I can just use it to, like, get more supplies or whatever, you know, just to support the page. So my email is meganmike5836@hotmail.com for email transfers, or I have PayPal. So if you want the PayPal, if you're not from, I think from outside of Canada, you have to use PayPal. But yeah, you don't need to, like, don't worry. Like, this is totally free and I'm not expecting anything. But thank you for asking. You should make a Patreon. What is that? Oh, or magical something. Yeah, ooh. I do have, I'll show you something I made is kind of magical. I was actually thinking of putting it on as like a, so this one here, I could totally do as a live. It's kind of magical. It's like yellow brick road, you know, a little castle. I was just experimenting. But I could totally do this one in the future. If you guys want, or something like it, right? It doesn't have to be that one exactly. But okay. So I'm going to get back out this round. Follow the yellow brick road. Thanks. It's actually making it for a kid's class, but it can be literally for any age. So I have my round brush. I'm just going to work on with you guys just those flowers that are here, and then that's the very last step, and then we're going to be done. So the flowers are mostly white, but a little touch of pink. So you probably already have pink on your palette for mixing. So I'm just going to actually just add a little more white to my palette. Okay. So I'm just using white and a little tad of pink. And what I'm doing is, now that this is kind of dried a little bit, which is good, it'll be easier to put the flowers on if it's a little dry and not too wet. Okay, so it doesn't have to be dry, but you don't want it to be soaked. So what I'm talking about for the little flowers is, I'll just kind of put one up here. So I'm using that round brush and I'm just going to flick out these little flowers. Kind of thinking of, you can even think of it as a little sun, right? It's a website where people pay to subscribe to you to support you extra. You can have different tier levels for different support amounts, and you can provide different rewards. Oh, okay. For different levels of support. Oh, nice. Thank you for letting me know, Rachel. I can look into that. Yeah, I would really, I'm kind of thinking of, like, putting out some sort of survey or something to see what you guys, like, have for, like, feedback for, like, what you'd like to see out of my page, and etc. I'm just kind of working on that. And I'm actually working on like registering this business, and there's a lot going on right now. And I'm super excited. So. And I even want to do some like random lives where I'm like just painting something and you guys can just watch and, you know, not be a step by step. You can just kind of just see what I'm doing, you know, what I'm up to. And yeah, just anything else like you would like to see, just let me know. Like, I'd love to see if I can do that for you. Where can I watch again? On this page. In the video section. So now I'm just making a whole lot of flowers. You kind of just pick where you want them to go. So in the middle, just so you can see what's ahead, is I'm just going to put a little brown dot. Right? And then we have our flower. So you can put as many of these as you like. Kind of just made them all over in the original. But it really just adds a nice little touch to the painting. And that's just mostly white with a little pink. And if you could also do some red ones too. Like if you feel like you have too much pink, do it in red, right? Like just make sure there's a balance, right, between the dark and light colors. So I'm just kind of flicking all these. Maybe I'll do one down here. So I'm just like putting them in very randomly. And if you like your tree as it is, you don't have to do this. This is just what I did in the original, so whatever makes you feel good. Exactly. No mistakes, just happy cherry blossoms. Yeah, I did learn a lot from Bob Ross, actually. I am a self-taught artist, and I just learned a lot from him, just watching his videos, practicing. I've been painting since I was a kid. I just love painting, and I used to really like drawing. I haven't drawn as much as I did in the past, but I just draw as I'm painting, so. So you might not be able to see them. Oh yeah, maybe you can see them. Once I add the brown dot, then you can see them more. There's one, there's one, there's one. Oh, and there's one here. See that? Where else do I want them? Maybe over here. And if it's too wet, then this will just literally blend on you and you will not be able to see them. So make sure it's, like I said, relatively dry. That beach one looks great. Oh, the one behind me, yeah. Thanks, I actually just made that one, like, not too long ago. I could do that one as, like, I would feel like I'd want to do that one as like a Zoom though, just because there's a little more steps to it than a live. I don't like to go on live like too long because I can't see you guys, and like I want to be able to see you guys and like and your art, right, and like help you with it, because that one's just a little, I would call that one, the beach one, like more intermediate. So I just feel like I'd want to do it on Zoom so I can like see you guys and help you out a little more. Yeah, I could totally put that one up as a Zoom. Yeah, just have some random, kind of a back shot of it. Maybe I'll just put it over here instead of, I feel like my camera skills are not very good when I hold it. I just, my arm just gets lazy and I end up dropping it. So I'm just kind of adding on those little middles there, where I might have had a flower. And if they're not standing out, add a little more of a different color, right? Like, does it need white? Does it need more pink? Does it need red? Okay, so yeah, I'm going to call this done, because I don't want to overdo the flowers. that's what I have there. And then, yeah, make sure you have some at the bottom, too. I'm actually just going to add a little bit of the kind of, just a little bit of a lighter shade to the bottom, because I feel like it's too dark down there with the pink, so I just added a little bit of the lighter color down at the bottom and just kind of tapping it in. Okay. So yeah, take a step back and yeah, see how it's looking. I really like this. I hope you guys like yours too. I'm sure they all look so nice. So now turn it on me. So yeah, let me know if you have questions. I don't like have to leave this second, but that's all the steps I have for you. So yay! I hope you had so much fun. Put that sponge in the water, put all your brushes in the water so they don't get dried out on you. So that happens to me sometimes. So this will be up as soon as I press finish for this live, and it takes like maybe 2-3 minutes to upload, and it'll be right on my page. You're welcome. So please share your art with me. You can post it in this event. You can post it right on my page. What really helps my page grow is if you would leave, if you feel inclined, you could leave a nice recommendation and how you enjoyed your experience. And if there's ever anything that you would like to do like privately with me, let me know. I added to my page like the services section. So the very first appointment with me that you can book is just us talking and seeing like, what do you want to learn? Where are you at? You know, like, let's plan. Are we going to meet in person? Are we going to have it online? So yeah, and then we just go from there. You're welcome. I'm going to do it later. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for coming. I'll show you what the next live is while you're here. I know you guys have seen it in the events, but this is the next live. I believe that is April. Oh gosh, I forget what date. April is this event. I believe it's April. Okay, that's gonna drive me crazy. I'll pin it. But it's in the events, so I just can't keep my dates in track anymore. I live week by week now. There's so much going on, so yeah, that's my next live. So that'll be a really fun one too. And then I do have a Zoom class coming up next week, actually next Thursday, and it is this little owl on a pole. So it's more like geared towards like children, but anybody of course can do that one. You're welcome. And then yeah, there's this one in the background that I could always do as a class too. So I would like to know what brand of brush is better. I like the Windsor brand or this brand here that I have. It's called Creative Inspiration. I believe you can find it on Amazon. You're welcome. Yeah, please post your art. I'd love to see them. And I'll just show you the next Zoom class while you guys are here too. If you have to go, don't worry. You can go. So this is the next Zoom class coming up next week. So that's super cute. It's a little snow owl because I was like so inspired by them, seeing them all over. Okay. You're very welcome. So I will say good night and have a great evening. Thanks again for watching. And take care and good night, everyone. Bye.